Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Yes. Hi, and Tammy. Let me see. Okay, it says I'm live, and it says that I have a microphone. If you're not hearing me speak, please let me know. My machine's been having problems. Um, and hi, Annette. Hi, Engla. This is oil painters out driving around, so she's just listening. So I really hope my mic's working because otherwise this is a really boring show. And then also, I'm so glad you're out talking to the fairies in the backyard, communicating with them. They're the next elemental that I'm going to do a long study on, but I did a huge download on dragons and I have to finish translating that into usable information for me. So that we'll get to that later. And let's see what else is going on. I got a bunch of questions, not a whole ton, but some. Um, oh, good. Thank you. Uh, it showed earlier it was working, but hi, Vivian. Um, I got a couple questions on health in my chatter. One is kind of too close to something I have, so I'm just going to send you a private note and say go talk to Dr. Gale on her solstice. I think that's what it's called, solstice health show she does on Mondays in the afternoons. She does it with Susie, and she has a chance, since she has a person backing her up, she actually has a chance to talk back and forth with you about what the problem is. I did get another health one that I will answer. Let's see what else. Oh, this weekend, yes. I had scheduled over 6 weeks ago, Saturday night, to work this guy's Halloween party. So then I thought as long as I was going to be in town, I'd go to Gretchen's to Dolly Python's because I walked out of there in February 2020 and had been back for just almost drive-by shootings, not to really be there for it, and certainly not reading. But my guide said it was safe right now to go out. They've also told me that we have another bad round of COVID and flu coming, and they will let me know that it's not safe to go out anymore. So Saturday, I got up in the morning and went to see Gretchen, and I was there at noon, and I read from noon to 5. Then I went and ate at a Mexican restaurant that's right next door. That's incredible. And it was so nice to eat somebody else's food. Yes. And then I got in a Lyft and I drove to a part of Dallas called Oak Cliff. Oak Cliff is very far south. Where I live is very far north. I was 40 minutes away from my house. There's no way in hell I was going to drive home at midnight with all the people who've been out partying and having a good time. So I read there, and it was so much. Yeah, I'd forgotten how much fun it is to read when the people can be responsive with you. And it's a little different than Zoom, but I saw a whole lot of people with a whole lot of changes coming on. Um, okay, nice to have Lise Niedermeyer joining us. You kind of look like a different name to me, but that doesn't mean anything because I don't have time to read all the stuff that happens in the chat. Uh, so anyway, then I got up Sunday morning after getting home at 12:30. Got up in time to read with Scott for 2 hours. Then I had all my stuff in my little bag and I took it off and went back and read at Dolly's for another 5 hours. So when I came home on Sunday night, I was very tired and just kind of collapsed. And then yesterday, I got up and just kind of putzed around the house and really didn't do anything because that's the most I've read consecutively in 3 years, 3.5 years. But it was great fun. And I found out I hadn't lost the touch of reading people for real. And I did have 2 readers from our area, Sleuth Jill and Anna Marie, and she's got, I think her astrology rising is her, what, or star something rising is her channel. She has a channel. Jill Sleuth doesn't, but I'd met her when we had the party at times 10. So I'm kind of thinking I might be going out and doing a little more adventurous things, but it was just great fun to see everybody. It was great fun to be out with everybody. It was great fun to find all the new people who are um, emerging. I mean, it was different than when I went out when I left the world in February 2020. There's a lot more people out there that are very aware that they're sensitive and that things are shifting around them, what makes it much easier to explain where I was. The Halloween party was insane. I mean, it was huge. This guy has a mid-century modern house that's huge, and he had a rock band out in his backyard, and he had 3 terraced areas where he has full-size living room furniture that's meant to be outside sitting there. Okay, I got a question. I'm going to mark it so I can find it. So we're going to start. We're starting to get questions. I think there's enough of you in here, and we're going to go. Okay, Annette, I would love a reading. Just, I don't know if you want just any kind of reading. I'm going to read you in the garden, and if I think it's enough, then we will. For those of you who have never seen my garden before, this is the garden. And I actually read this at Gretchen's, and I showed it to a couple people at the Halloween party, but the table was very awkward to try and read the garden. But we're going to do a kind of general reading around Annette T. Ooh, girl. Wow. You got some great stuff going on here. She's only got one thing in the center, which means you're branching out. Your energy's branching out right now. And your body is between restate and past. It says you're not sure about what your options are right at the moment, but you should look at things that you've done previously to see that works. I'm sorry, my hand kind of pops in and out. It's the way this camera is. I know I look like I kind of disappear. I really don't. Your body, your mind is the one that's in a great place. Your mind is on earth, fire, restate, solar plexus, heart, and false. So we get to read all of them, girl. You get the whole reading deal. So your physical changes are coming if that's what you're looking for. And in a way, you're going to be shedding some of the things from your past. That's what's going to be coming towards you. For restate, you got think of how the situation is can be viewed and rethink. And you've got so much action in the outer rings here. That's really true. You're going to have to this is really going to put your mind through it. Now we get to false. And false says your mind at times might be misleading you. And that's what they're telling you over here. Really think, and rethink. Don't go into analysis paralysis, but just make sure you know what you're looking at. And then your solar plexus and your heart. Normally when a stone falls on the heart, I read that first, but since you've got stones all over the place, we're going to read the heart now. And your mind is being opened up by your heart. In other words, go with your feeling, go with your gut. Don't go with your brain. And your solar plexus says, you have great power right now by connecting all your mental forces. So going with your heart and accepting that and taking that as the mental force. This is a really powerful position. This is a whole emergence. View things, think about what they are, restate, make sure you've got it clear. But man, once you've got it clear, then you've got the your grounding stone is in solar plexus, and it said burns out all self-doubt that might be blocking your power from coming through. So, and then you've got, I'm going to go to spirit, which is in a cool place. It's in the third eye. And it says spirit will help you. Remember I said go with your heart. Spirit will help you see around the corner and know what to do next. It Spirit helps your vision see just around the corner and look at what's going on next. And then you have spirit and presence. And these spiritual changes are happening with you right now. Right now. And so now we're going to see what you got for clarity. And you've got the path forward. Look carefully for omens because many are coming around you right now. And it says, one of the things that's kind of making you crazy, you're sitting there saying, she doesn't understand how cloudy it looks. You got a little bit left in cloudy, but your vision's coming towards you. So all I can tell you, Annette, is you are in a rocking place, and whatever you're planning to do, go for it. If you can type something in the chat later on to help me understand if I'm seeing this correctly, I would love it. Okay, now I'm going to talk to show. Tammy said, I'm wondering if my recent neck pain is from being an empath or if I need to get an x-ray. I have a degenerative disc disease, but it hasn't hurt this badly before. If it's an empath, can you tell me who? Okay, I would, if I had physically knew I had a problem that can lead to degeneration, don't screw with your spinal cord. Just don't do it. It's not, sometimes if we don't disperse our energy very well, we end up like a chariot. You know, a chariot in the tarot has two horses pulling the guy forward, a right and a left. And this is going to be based on your dominant hand. If you're right-handed, your right is your doing side. If you're left-handed, your left is your doing side. So figure out which is your dominant hand, and then realize that's the part that does, and then you have to take in equal amounts of energy on the receiving side. If you don't, your body will get out of balance and things will hurt. But the reason I worry about this one, it's in the spine. It's usually, that's the whole center of energy running through your body. So I would definitely say, go get an x-ray, Tammy, and just eliminate that. And then if you eliminate that, then we can talk about energetics. And I don't know if you guys, I mentioned Dr. Gail, I think her healing thing before. She has a cute little skeleton she pulls out. She used to be a chiropractor, and she can use it in distance healing. So, and this is my last question. Stephanie D. Stephanie D, today is your birthday, and am I going to give you a gift? I'm going to give you a reading of 2023, and I'm doing it for two reasons. One is you're nice enough to ask me to do it on your birthday, so you can do that, and I got to get this out of the way to do it. The other reason is I do this reading in December and January, and I will be putting them up, and I will start doing them again. You can book it as a Zoom meeting, and so I want to just kind of show people how it works, but and I'm going to lay out the way I will traditionally do it. I'm going to start with January. And the reason I do that is I get confused. And so if I started with November, I'd be having to count every time up through all of the months. What I'm going to put the table up so you can see what's going on here. Okay. There's going to be 12 cards, the big guys, the power. This is Angel Power Tarot, Archangel Power Tarot cards, and they're wonderful for this. I'm going to put out 12 cards representing the months. So it's January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And that's going to be the main theme for that month. A couple readers I did this for last year keep reporting in. Yep, you were right. I thought I was going to have more money this month, and lo and behold, something happened to my truck, and I had to get it repaired. And you'd said to not trust false economic rebounding, and then the other one was that they'd find out some happy news, and they found out that they were going to become a grandparent. So Stephanie, you'll be able to go back and replay this and see when I'm talking about this. So you can write down your months if you want to. So this is Stephanie B's 2023. Takes a while to lay it out, but I read it a lot faster than I lay it out. It's amazing. I'm going to tell you, if a major arcana shows up on a month, that's going to be an important month. If you see repeated cards, because I'm using 2 decks, you could technically have 2 Ace of Pentacles, 2 anything else, but we're going to start with January. Well, and you got it. You got the Ace of Ariel, which is the Ace of Pentacles. I think you're going to be starting a new enterprise, or you're going to get a raise. It's your lucky day, new resources and money coming in to support you. A change in job or promotion. She's a lovely. If you've never seen this deck, it's Radley Valentine's, and she's a lovely card. And on top of her, you've got the 2 of Rods, someone coming to you with an offer to pair up with you. So I really think there's going to be a job change, promotion, or a raise for you in January. Now, February, what happens there? Well, this is the 4 of Gabriel, which is a 4 of Wands. It's time for celebration, abundant rewards of hard work. Release yourself from burdensome situations. Oh, my camera's doing its freeze thing. Okay, that's that card. But on top of it, you have the 3 of Rods reversed. Now, I do read reverses. I think it's going to take longer. You're going to see a lot of good things coming out of January. There's going to be a few reverses in February, but they're going to work out for you. Come on now, hand. Get out of there. Okay. March, I think you're going to be put into a place where you're going to get more training. This is like the 8 of Coins, and it's like, take great pride in your excellent work. Practice is perfect. Consider getting an additional, someone's going to offer you a chance to get additional learning. And that's going to be, makes you very happy, because you're going to view it as a chance that you got acknowledged what you do. April. Oops. No. I think you're not only are you going to be recognized, but if you've been in a tight spot or there's been things that have really bugged you at your job, you're going to be moving on. This is the 6 of Swords, and it's the light at the end of the tunnel. Breathe a sigh of relief. Make new plans. And I think you're going to take a trip or a vacation at that point. And you've got the Knight of Cups, and that's always someone bringing you a lovely, generous offer. Because all the cards around it are great. Now, every once in a while, if he shows up and everybody's behaving sleazily, that's what's going to happen to you, but that's not true. Got another Knight. Knights always mean movement. The Knight of Gabriel. This is your May. May. Time for action. Great passion for your new cause. And you just know, you're going to just know what to do. You're not going to even have to think about it. And you're going to have to kind of juggle some things to make it work, but it will work. June, let's see what you got. Oh, got the Page of Gabriel and the King of Cups. So you got 2 people who are going to be important to this movement this month. And it says, follow your passions. This is like from here. You are really ready for that challenge. Opportunities and excitement are going to happen around you. And you're going to be paired up with a male coworker or a woman coworker who's light-haired, light-eyed, and this could just be a friend. I mean, I'm reading this like a paying job, but since I don't have a chance to really talk with you, this is setting off a whole new year for you. And I'm going to give you your personal year number this time. Once again, girl, you got another ace. Remember, I said you get lots of aces. Ace of Wands, the gift of passion, opportunities, and inspiration. Boy, you're going to have just the best old time. And you got the sun on top of it. And I never read the sun reversed. By July, you're going to be riding high, girl. And everything's going to be pulling together. And in part, it's going to be good for you because you're going to be able to bow out of doing some things you've been tied to. You're going to be able to let them go because you've got all this great stuff coming in. And situation will have ended. You finally are free. New opportunities and happiness are flowing around you. And the only thing is it's going to take a little longer because you got the Knight of Rods upside down. Instead, if he was right side up, he'd be riding you into it. If he's upside down, it's going to take a little more to get there. But September, wonderful, divine guidance. And it's great because I'm going to tell you what it's matched with right now. The Seven of Cups upside down, which means you're not going to be delusional about what's going on around you. And you're going to be searching for the meaning in life. Consider the alternative approach. Surround yourself with wise teachers and friends, and you won't get deluded. You won't end up feeling deluded. Come on, move. Okay. I'm going to do your numbers and find out what year this is for you. Your October is the sun, and you've got the sun here. Life is wonderful. Thrive through the power of positive thinking. You're an inspiring success. And in part, it's going to be because you're going to be leaving some groups you've been tied to, and you're going to realize that those ties were not the best for you. And then November, you're going to have time to focus and think on hobbies or new ideas or new things. Do what you love. It's time for great personal growth in career or artistic endeavors, hobbies, all things like that. Working with others in an incredibly cooperative manner. And this is something you've striven for all your life. It's been a goal to end up in this happy, happy space. And this is the equivalent of the Nine of Coins. But I love her. She's riding her horse and she's under a rainbow. And your December is your dreams are fulfilled. Hard work has come to great success. And not only that, you got the Nine of Pentacles on the Nine of Pentacles. So, okay. Which are the big months for you? You got Ace there. January. March, because the cup shows there. And you got the Ace and the Sun. July is just going to be spectacular for you. August, there's going to be some breaking away, some changing for you. But it's all because you're going into an incredible fall. You've got September and October. You have guidance and the sun. And the guidance is modified by you're letting go of delusions. You're going to see the world as it is. Then you have another major arcana, the star, in November, when you're going to have a chance to really build out your skills. And then in all the years I've done this reading, I've never had the same card land on the same card. So birthday girl, now if today's your birthday, it's 3 and 6. Oh, I know exactly what's going on. You're going into your 9 year. And if you know anything about numerology, and if you can go back, you can see where I did a show recently with Ann Perry, and that's what we looked at was personal years. 9 is the year that you get rid of all the stuff you don't need anymore, and you're moving. By the time you're in your birthday year from now, you will have swept your life clean of all the stuff you don't need, and you're ready to take on new endeavors, which makes so much sense with what I see here. So, yeah, this is a month you're going into your next 1 year cycle. You can look it up, personal years. You can Google it. Trust me, if you Google it, you will be followed forever by numerologists, but just don't give them the right email address. But that's a year reading, and that is, I can't tell you, I love it when I do readings that are really inspirationally positive, and that one is, you've done all the hard work to get yourself to here, girl. And you're going into a 9 year today. You're switching from an 8 year, which was a money power year. There was a lot of good things probably happen around you. You learned how much power you really do have. But now we're going ahead. So that's the year wheel. And now I've got to go back into the comments because I've got 45 of them. Okay, I've got some that are for reading. Okay, general reading, please. Also, aloha. Okay, I'm gonna mark these so I don't miss them. And this is why I love it when I have someone who works with me on this. But Kelly's been busy doing Kelly things, which is good. Hi, Skywalking with Moon. Gail, Dr. Gail, if you could put your site in here. I had a couple health questions that I didn't choose to answer because I didn't feel ready to. If you could type in the chat when your show is, the one like the one you had yesterday. Okay. I'm almost done, guys. Almost done. Burning out all self-doubt would be helpful. And let's see. Okay. Got a bunch marked up here. Where is she? Okay. I'm going to put the garden out again because these questions, looking at them, are real good garden questions. And got to use a little baby, you know. That's how I learn it too. Is rolling this out. And so this is, where was that? Okay. Banners. Hide. Comments. Okay, Stephanie, then I think you may be working. I think that what I read for you might be an employment thing. I had a feeling it had to do with you really pulling in the money you should have been pulling in all along. You're going to have a wonderful, wonderful year next year. Hi, Nancy. Should I move to Kansas, and will it be a healthy move? Well, we're going to look at overall, Karen, if you've never seen the garden before, what it does is it doesn't do yes, no's particularly, but I'm going to ask, what are the circumstances around Karen's move to Kansas? Oh, well. Oh, you got a good rock. That's your ability. Yeah, there's something in your background. There's something that your spirit is in fire and water, which means it wants to move on. Your clarity is in fire and earth, which means things are still building. There's some part of it. This is saying that there's a little bit. I don't know if you lived in Kansas before, and we'll once I start pulling these apart, not tearing them up, and your earth, your body ended up in earth, which means many physical changes are coming. That would imply to me that you know what you're doing. It says listen to your body for signals. So if you're not 100% sure, as close as you can be, if you don't have a great deal of confidence in what you're feeling about this, don't go there, because your mind says, which is sitting right here next to earth, final thoughts of the situation are coming. You just don't have them all yet. And your mind can be misleading about this, but your mind also is falling into path forward. Your mind is open right now, so watch for the signs, and that's when we're going to go to this. Your spirit and your clarity being matched together in fire. Something happened around you in Kansas, and they cloud you from getting some enlightening ideas. When you start to think about it, you get dragged back to that. And this says that when the transmutation's completed, you'll be absolutely sure what you need to do. Your clarity also fell a bit in earth and fire. And when your clarity is in earth, you may have many paths. You seem to have many paths going to there, but only one will you really fall in love with as your future. And use ideas from the past. So some of the feeling I have that you've got some wariness about the past, look at that before you move forward. But then we get to true. And it says and this is moved out into the future. In true, you're going to see exactly where you need to go. And you also have it in the tree of life, which is a wonderful spot. and it means harmony. And this is kind of warning like the other ones. Fool's gold. It's not a deception. It means you recognize the abundance beyond the physical. Learn the lesson of harmony. So I think if you had some reservations about Kansas, and Lord knows what they could be, but, and I know where you're moving from, but these are saying you have all the power within your body, and right now you're in a state of transmutation, and transmutation is actually stronger. Let me put this, I didn't meant to do this so you can see. Transmutation is stronger than transformation, because transformation is, everyone will look at you and see the same person stuff. Transmutation means whole chunks of you really shift and change. And that's what you're in the middle of. And these stones are warning you, your body and your mind are warning you. They're not done growing yet, but I think it'll be a healthy move. If you make this move, I'm going to say that it's going to be in the winter or early spring because of where that stone landed. You can tell time on this. This is winter, spring, summer, and this quadrant's fall. And I think this fall has been all important for you to understand it. And your spirit falls in two greatest crystals: the amethyst crystal, that's your spirit, and the pyrite, that's your grounding. Both fall in the winter. So I think that's when you'll know. That's when you'll absolutely understand where you need to go. I hope that helps. Let's see. Jolynn. Aloha. I would love to have a reading. So we're going to do a reading about Jolynn. This month is going to be transformative for so many people. So if you don't mind, Jolynn, since you give me a time frame, let's see if you can, what we're going to see for your November. Oops. Where'd you go? You went to there. Actually, I think you went to there. They bounce on the table every once in a while. And what you got are, you're working on some elemental things. Your mind's clearing out some stuff. It's deciding what to do with information it's gotten that I think is false, and you're moving forward. You understand some of your perceptions are misleading, but final thoughts on the situation are coming for you again. And then your spirit is also really, really growing right now. It's transforming, but it's not yet finished. So November is going to be an interesting month. You're going to see a whole lot of things happening around you. And some of it's going to be past life stuff because you've got clarity and fire. And use ideas from your past lives to find a solution. There's something you're going to be introduced to, and you're going to go like, it's almost like I did this before. And you did. And this month is where you're going to kind of be able to pull on those threads from your past life to move forward. Now your body is between fire and water, and you're going to get help from the grounding elements with the water. And the fire says, this also matches up with the stone. You're going to embody your past. So there's going to be a chance to relook and redo something and improve it, because you've got your grounding stone in sacral chakra, and your ability to manifest right now, it's supercharged. So when you get it clear in your brain where you want to go, man, there's nothing that's going to stop you. That's where you're going to go. Okay, I hope that helps. Okay, let me mark you. Guys, I almost missed this one. You have to put your questions in capitals. She's happened to fall between two. So I'm going to do for Michelle, I'm going to do the same thing. Okay. We're going to start with your body because it's in go for it, which when the body lands in go for it, that means movement is very easy for you at this time. And you're moving out of information you've known for a long time. The connection, you're going to be making connections between your physical being and security. So it's going to be good for you. And I'm sorry, my camera's so retarded. Um, where's your mind in all this? Your mind's between fire and water. And when your mind's in fire, do not become too tied to false energies from the past. And water is let go of all limitations. So this is telling you the same thing in each of those spaces. This one's saying, don't get too tied to how things worked in the past and let go of any limitations that come from that, because you're in this great place where your body's all tied up together and ready to go. Now you've got your spirit and clarity. They couldn't be any closer unless they landed on each other. And I actually have rolled things in the garden where two stones landed on each other. Not today. They're just really, really close. So your spirit is transforming, but it's not yet finished. And for clarity, you have many paths ahead of you. That's what you're going to have to sort out, which is the right path. And we sort of saw that up here. You have to do that. But you've got your grounding is in the present, and that's great. Your values are being purified right now. In other words, this month, you are going to be really, really thinking things through. But this is all setting you up to just go, to find new security, find new way to do things, and to get rid of some old things from the past that are holding you back. So that, I think, Michelle, looks like a good reading. A general reading. Okay. I'm not going to read you in the garden. No prejudice about that. I just want to sort of split this up. Let's see. What's going on around Lise? For the most part, all I did this weekend was really read cards. I just pulled the garden out for people I'd read before and they knew how I read. Oh, no wonder you're asking this question. You got the big change card. You got the I'm transforming. Okay. I think you've recently figured out, or in the far past, you've known for a long time what kind of an intuitive you really are. But now you're starting to let people see it. It's starting to come out. You're transforming it. You're hitting that point in your life where you just can't keep it hidden anymore. And so things are starting to happen around you that are making you feel really good about it. But you're the Queen of Swords, like I am. And my favorite definition of that card is she goes around sticking her sword in everybody's bag of bullshit. That's an interesting thing to do, but we think Queen of Swords thinks so much faster than other people. We don't want to leave them in the dust. So I think that's where you are today. Now, this is the future. These 6 cards are the future. And anything that's in the future, these things have not come to pass yet. They can, they might not. But this is why I love reading tarot. Being forewarned is forearmed. And so you know, if you see something and I say, oh, this is where the energies are leading, and you say, no, I want to get the world. I want to finish this cycle in my life. You can be aware that there's a part of you that doesn't, but then you can say, if you see chances to do that, you can turn it around. The world is the ending of the major arcana. It's usually the ending of a cycle. But right now it shows you're hesitant to do that to make that change because you're feeling very defensive. And this is hopes and fears. And I don't know if you have children or a young person who you counsel and as dependent on you. You have some hopes for them that things are going to go really, really well. You also have some fears that they may not come and deal with you. But they also may bring you a bright message that will make it easier for you to make these transitions. I see a light-haired, light-eyed man or a man who is very involved in entrepreneurial things, building businesses. And he's sitting out here and he's going to help you get out of the point that you're stuck in. And this is your out card. And this is the one. The other thing about the Queen of Swords is she can be very judgmental. Don't be judgmental. Let these people be who they are and you decide who you want to be and move on. And then you can complete the cycle where you haven't been taking care of yourself. So your general reading is you're emerging, you feel it, you know it. You're not sure the people around you are going to accept it. You can't hide from it, girl. It's going to show up. And if you try to stifle your natural abilities, they're going to go negative. So I think it's a wonderful reading. I'm all for growth and change. And sometimes I was thinking about this at the end of this weekend. Actually, I was talking to another reader yesterday, and going back where I hadn't been since February of 2020 was the most interesting place to go because it helped me figure out some things I really wanted to move towards. I'm going to do Esther wants a general reading. And I'm going to use my pendulum for the next person who wants to know if her finances are going to change. I find that the pendulum likes that question a whole lot. I was reading at this guy's house and I was trying to set my garden up and I have to point north. So I'm like walking around with my cell phone and he's kind of looking at me. Of course, he was dressed like Michael Jackson, so he should be looking at me, right? And I said, which way is north? And he was able to point me because it's his house and he knows what goes on there. Dallas is a very twisty city, so even though you think you might know north, you always have to check. Okay, Esther. Well, aren't you having a good time right now? Oh, wait, nope. Talk less, lay cards more. Okay. Oh. Okay. Right now, things are feeling really good, but you're one of those people who says, oh my God, something bad's going to happen. It can't stay this good. Guess what, girl? It might. I think that one of the reasons you feel that you have justice, which means things are balanced, and you're finding your own power, which is really great, but you've had a kind of rocky boat trip to get to this point. You've been out to sea on a stormy sea. Let's see which way it goes. Okay. On a stormy sea. That doesn't look like the kind of gliding around on the water in the summer that we would want. And the man who caused that is kind of pulling away from your life. And I'm not even sure he's actually in your life now. I think you love him, you let him live rent-free in your brain. Don't know if that's true or not, but it's his negative thinking. He was very sharp with words and he planted some bad ones in you. You've got big changes coming, and big changes, the tower can take everything away so you can see plainly where you need to be. You're not interested in investing in crap anymore. You're not sure you want the end of this cycle, and you don't feel you're ready to move there because you don't feel strong enough, but you are strong enough. This man is going to come into your life, and he's a person with money and clear thinking. And once he gets set in, then you're going to be able to turn this. I wouldn't turn this one necessarily, but it depends on how patient you want to be. But you can get to the end of this cycle. You can, remember I told you can turn any card that's in the future. You can build your own strong defenses. And when you do then you have just the most incredible. You've got balance, you've got magician, and you've got strength embodied in you. So, Esther, you're on the edge of it, but you remember, it's row your own boat. So, we're going to get the next lady wants to know about finances. Don't we all? Actually, I think for many people, finances are going to improve despite what the naysayers, the economic naysayers say, because they get paid to say no, Anyway. This is a dowsing garden. If you've never seen it before. And I have to ask 3 questions first. Do I have permission to douse? Yep. Okay. Am I aligned with my higher self? Yeah, more or less. My higher self gets pissed at me sometimes. Okay, but it's basically yes. And then am I fully protected? This one was funny on. I'm going to ask the question, concentrate on it, and then I'll tell you what happened Saturday. Yep, I'm fully protected. I was doing those three questions when I was setting the dowsing chart out when I was setting up my table. And when I asked if I was fully protected, this little thing just swung. And you see how it kind of hold it? Oh, yeah, see? It swung out of my hand and flew across the aisle and went into a different part of the store. So I had to go find it. So then I lit some incense, said the violet flame, which is a very interesting prayer, and it kind of cleaned it up. So now we're going to ask your question. Oh, that's not, I didn't go to it. Oops. This is why I should never run shows by myself. Will my finances improve in 2023? I'm going to do finances improving and then I'll ask 2023. This is finances. Not as much as you would wish, but it's more than, it's maybe 10% below what you were anticipating happening. Now, how will 2023 be a positive year for Eleanor? It's okay, it's going to be slow starting, but when it shifted to yes, it just went right to yes. So when your yes comes, Eleanor, there's going to be no question about it for you in 2023. I'd say it's 3 to 4 months in. Hi, Michelle. Let's see, where am I now? Good, Tammy. She's Solaris Healing Center is Dr. Gale's channel on Mondays. She does a brilliant, brilliant job. And she doesn't pay me to say that. Ha! We don't have enough money to pay each other to say anything. Oh, good. Stephanie's working on a new business. Well, you're going to get there, girl. There's no doubt about it. Hide. Oh, doesn't cats? I'm okay. She's here. Um, and actually, Kelly, I didn't contact you about today because I didn't know I was going to do it till late last night because I wasn't sure I was going to. Yeah, do it. Dr. Gale's thing is Monday, 12 Pacific Daylight Time, which we get to change next week, guys. All kinds of fun. Oh, thank you, Astrology Vibrations. And I'm going to talk to you about the coming events on my channel. I've got several of them. Okay. Okay, we're going to do, I think I'm going to, oh, here they are. Couldn't find my garden stones. I think I'm going to do this. I would like a November reading if there's time. Thank you. There is. You're staying close to home. You're staying close inside of where you've been, although your body is in water. And when your body's in the water, it said you're going to do a lot of things that are going to ground you, make you more secure this month. But your mind is in a great place. It's in air. And your thoughts are all important. So as you're grounding stuff in, sift through and be careful of what you're thinking. Monitor your thoughts. Oh, and you're making me work. The grounding stone, the pyrite, is right in the middle, so I get to read it for all four signs. So we're going to go to Spirit and Earth, because that makes Spirit's transforming and not yet finished, but clarity is part of your path forward. Looking carefully at omens as they're moving towards you, and also for clarity, you've got a little bit in Earth, many paths ahead of you. It's basically saying the same thing as path forward. Now, grounding or pyrite, which is like grounding elements that are helping you, or it's your value system. And in that you have, for your grounding, you have air. Mental actions are your path to abundance. Water. It's grounding changes are settling into long-term patterns. No wonder this is a really important month for you, Chris. Fire. Clarification comes through dealing with some things from your past. And your final thing is more is going to be brought forward. So it's probably by the end of this month, it's not going to be finished. But yeah, you're in the middle of a huge transformation. You're letting go of a lot of limitations. You're moving on. That's your values in water. And your mind's really onto this. Your spirit says, okay, let's grow. Let's go. Let's do it. That's just wonderful. And it's great for this time of year because, you know, we're shifting from 2022, which has is the number 6 to 2023, which is the number 7. And 7 is a spiritual and analytical year. That's the universal vibe for that whole year. If you didn't see the show I did with Ann Perry, Dr. Gales can have Ann Perry on later this month. She's a brilliant numerologist from Canada. I'm prejudiced about Canadians. My parents were Canadians. But she lives in Nova Scotia. Yeah, she lives in Nova Scotia. Brilliant woman. And she has a whole library that you can just go to her YouTube channel, and she has a whole library full of things that can help enlighten you. So now we're switching to Tammy A. Tammy A. What's the vibrations around Tammy A? Wow, girl. You are creating some great new stuff because you have your brains and your values are in the root chakra, which is our security, our creativity. Creativity is the key to all security for you. And you need to focus on understanding what really makes you feel secure. Then you can move forward. And then you have 3 stones. And the way the energies work for the basic elements, earth is where things rise up from. This means things that are growing. And what you have growing is your body, which is physical changes are coming. So if you've been doing a diet or learning to walk more or changing how you eat or something, people are going to start to see it. But also can just mean you're physically moving on to a different space than you've been in. And for clarity, it says you have many paths and the correct one will appear. And then you have just the spirit in just the best place, the solar plexus, which is power. You know, if you know how the energy goes through your body, you create an understanding in your root chakra, you take it through your sacral chakra, and you deal with it very creatively, and you bring it up. And then the solar plexus is where you take those great and creative ideas and push them out. And your solar plexus says power comes from understanding you can't just transform, you need to transmute, which means you need to move just beyond the shell people are seeing, bringing up new, better, and inner ideas. So you got a great month coming up. Okay. Okay, Debbie Joyce, we're going to do a spiritual reading for you. Then I'm going to scan down, see what's left, because I have a couple of other things I want to go through, and I don't want to keep everybody here forever. Okay. Wow, you're moving. And I'll tell you, the trick is if all the stones land here, you're doing very foundational things for yourself. When the stones are in the outer rings, it means it's movement, that things are changing and shifting for you. And we're going to start with your body. This, I told you before, physical changes are coming for you. And people will be able to see the inner light that's coming, building up in you. And just be ready for that. But this is great. Heart is in, the heart has the, which is love. And that kind of, and it's self-love, not just loving everybody else, but this is self-love. And your heart has spirit. And spirit's been making your heart come alive. That's what I felt when I looked at this. This person's emerging and changing. People are beginning to see who you really are. And you're doing it by expressing your values, and your values are being purified right now. You're having to look at things and say, this is the way I want it, and this is the way I can have it. And your values are also in air a little bit. And it says mental actions are your path to abundance. So whatever you're doing mentally is really interesting. Your mind is in Tree of Life and True. And I already told you I love Tree of Life, but your thoughts are leading your way, and that's the true. And for the Tree of Life, position the mind in your situation to bring about the change you're envisioning, and then you've got clarity and go for it. And this one's really fun. Move now on all your intuitions. So yeah, your spiritual reading is, yes, the spirit you're understanding now are really growing in you. It's ready to go. Just grab on, listen to your intuition. Your spirit is leading your heart. There's not a better place for you to be from. Let me see how many more. Thank you, Cold Toes. Appreciate it. I'm going to show you this. Cold Oil Painter said it's funnier when, and that's true. I know tarot well enough. I can listen to a tarot reader read. And if they announce which cards they're talking about, I can kind of follow their readings. I don't know how that helps people with the garden, because I still have to use the cheat sheet that my guides gave to me for the garden. So, but I think the garden's really working out today well for people. Okay. Okay. Do one more reading, and then I'm going to talk about what I've got coming up so you can understand. And it's, is there a path in my future financially in the next 2 months? Okay. I'm going to ask, and you need to think of it this way too. Is there a positive path in my future financially? Because, paths go two ways. They can go up and they can go down. But we're going to ask a bit about yours going up. Okay, yeah, I think so. Mostly because this card, see, guys, I've been reading cards since I was 12. I turn everything into a card. But the Tree of Life, you've got your mind. You're opening yourself up to radiant guidance. Listen to your intuition, girl. What is your problem? And you got clarity in the future. And it's ideas planted right now will flourish. So whatever you've been thinking about doing, move. Your values are growing and emerging in a different way. More is being brought forward around you constantly right now. And your body is between understanding things from your past and helping you ground two elements. So you're going to let go of the false images from your past and find the ones that really help you ground, because your body's out here working with your spirit, which is in water. And I don't know where you've been, girl, but your transmutation is almost complete. I think you just need to learn to trust it. And I know it's really hard, because when I used to read at table, every time I went in, I said, is it going to work? Is this going to work? And it always did. You're a little late to the party. And you guys, if you see my notice come up, which you will see if you subscribe to my channel and say you want notifications, then you will know when I'm reading, and you'll be able to get your questions in, and I can write them up and have them all set up, and it works. Then you're sure you're going to get your question answered. But another winner. Wow. You guys have, I've only really been reading this thing for about a year and a few months. And I love it when I read these kinds of exceptional readings, because they're so different. Your spirit's transforming right now, but it's not yet finished. Your thoughts are leading the way. You've got your clarity is in the Tree of Life, which is just wonderful. It says your path is blessed with clarity and wisdom right now. your values are in the crown chakra. And where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? When the stone falls here, all will become clear. And your body is in the future. And it's things are going to physically. I think you sense all this is going on around you, but I think very soon something's going to show up that's going to verify what I just read for you. Good girl. I love to see it when everybody's doing well. Because I don't know if any of you realize this, but when readers get a whole lot of images, and if I'm reading a time when people are feeling really down, that's where I tend to be going. And if I read people and everybody's on their way up and it's great, it's much fun. And I cannot tell you, the last big party I did was a birthday party right before I pulled out of the world. My guides told me to leave in 2020, about 6 weeks before the rest of the world caught on and shut down. But I was reading at this place, and I kept reading all these marvelous young investment bankers and women in design and all this stuff. And everybody, I just kept seeing their world was going to stop. And it was really starting to freak me out. And that's before I knew the world was really going to stop. And I was talking to the host of the party, and it ends up his birthday was the day when we had the major conjunction. That is the one that they say whenever it's shown up in the past, astrologically, we had a plague. And I didn't know at that time. I found that out from reading history books because I didn't have anything else to do when I got home. But I was talking to him, and I said, "Oh, you were born on the day of the conjunction." And he said, "What's that mean?" And then all of a sudden I heard my voice tell me, it said, "Ask him why he's closing all his businesses." I said, "Why are you closing all your businesses?" And he said, because some drive told me now is the time to get out. So he'd already finished basically closing his businesses before the world stopped. He knew. I mean, he was that tied into those planets. I've never spoken to him again, but it was the freakiest party. I came home, and at one point, somebody kept saying, "Well, why is everybody changing? What's going to happen with all this?" And I just can't. I mean, I didn't want to tell him, but I really felt like it was, I really felt like it was going to be like a war or something. And it was a war. I just didn't know what we were battling was teeny tiny. Anyway, kids, I'm going to break from here. I have a couple things that I want to talk about. This is my quote for the day. Living successfully through life's difficulties will help you realize what you truly want to achieve in your life. And that's a quote from Angel Speak. And I had such a positive reaction to the little meme I put up announcing the show. I really felt like there's a lot of it, a lot of us that feel that way. And we felt like we're living successfully through some very difficult times. We cannot let those get to us because then we can't decide, let those issues define us. We need to define how we're going to move forward. And my other little thing, I love to find things to get for me. And so if you go to Crystal Vaults, they have a free PDF book, and their books are excellent. And this one is about crystals, color, and magic. And I pulled it off last night and read through it to make sure that its topics were correct from what because every once in a while I get stuff and people are wrong. I've never gotten anything from Crystal Vaults that's wrong. But this is the thing is it's got quite a few topics, but they're ones people ask me all the time about how to do spells. I don't know anything about doing spells. I don't do spells, but they have some really good definitions, and the guidelines they give you help you there. Then they have a thing about anointing oils, anointing powers, crystal elixirs, which I don't mix crystals with water ever because a lot of crystals hide minerals that will not help you, but it's got salves and some other things. It's got also how you can make dressing powders to put on your body when you're going to go out are you going to go be dressing for all different sorts of energies to create them around you. Then they also have a section on using spell jars. Now that I do. I have little bitty jars like this, and I'll put different stones in it when I want to concentrate power for something. Then how to do a mojo bag, and I used to call them crystal compasses, but I still have it on my website, a product where I do a quick reading. We look at stones that can help you. I put the 3 or 4 stones together and send them with a teeny tiny little octahedron fluorite so that you can use that to focus. So you can create sort of a little personal private grid you can carry around with yourself. Then they also have massage oils and conditioning oils, and they've got some stuff. They've got a whole thing on stones they feel will bring in the violet flame, and I'm big on that because I have the violet flame prayer. They have ways you can like put potions together and things, rub them on your body, and carry the violet flame with you, which is a wonderful thing to do if you really want to protect yourself. The third and last thing I want to bring up inside. I'm doing a show next Thursday. I will not be here. I will be on Danny Shea's channel. We'll be on there at noon, my time, which is 10 o'clock his time. And we are going to be looking at tarot decks and oracle decks, because Danny and I have been talking about like the kinds of things I teach, and that he wants to share his experiences more. So we're going to talk about what kind of the difference between tarot and oracle is, just a really brief thing. And then we're going to look at the Rider-Waite deck, and then we're each going to pick a favorite deck we have of tarot cards and pull out the cards from that deck and explain the differences in the images and how to work with that, and so you can maybe kind of look at a deck and say, is this one I really want to get involved with? We may do this as a series of shows. I don't know, but I'm going to be sending out a notice the night before to gather up some questions for us to have on that show. Now that's next Thursday at noon my time, an hour earlier than I normally go up, because Danny's a real get up at dawn and run around the world. I'm like up running around at midnight. So that's the best time for us to get our 2 schedules together. And I've always enjoyed talking to Danny. He has a great depth of knowledge about this stuff. And I think if you're interested in this at all, show up, sign up, do the deal. And I'm hoping to see you all then. And that's kind of the end of my broadcast for today. Let me see, Carol Ann. The 3rd is this Thursday. And I'm going to be really glad when we change on time next week. Coming attractions for me to keep watching out for my calendar. I'm going to have a guy named Tim Walther, who's from England, and he teaches how to work with earth energies, how to find ley lines in your home, how to correct those things if you find a deviant ley line on your property. It does happen. So I'm going to be going back into that, and I'm finishing up my understanding of the dragons, and I'm starting on fairies and gnomes and elves next in my elementals things. That's what they tell me. That's who's talking to me right now. So I loved having all of you here. I enjoyed being out with real people like flesh and blood, but so much of what I could add this time to reading at the table was lessons I've learned from you and from this community. And I want you to like and subscribe, and do what you can do. And remember, if you want to get your question read, pay attention to my notifications and let me know in the comments that you want to be read. Thank you all so much. I enjoyed seeing you. Bye-bye.